It weren't great last night, let's be brutally honest about it. In fact, in the first 45 minutes, Forest didn't have a shot on target. But it's all irrelevant because they're through in the last eight of the FA Cup. And by the way, Coisty, what an intriguing last eight it is.
Well, we spoke about it yesterday. I think it is brilliant for the tournament. I really do. Well, I mean, there's clubs in there that haven't won any silverware before. Clearly Manchester City, who haven't been at their best, will probably be favourites at this moment in time. But could you rule out Brighton? Could you rule out Forest? Could you rule out Villa? No chance.
Of course, they've got a desperately difficult game at Bournemouth as far as Manchester City are concerned. I think it's really hard to call who is the favourite. I know the bookmakers will make City clear favourites, but with that tricky trip to come to Bournemouth,
I think it's great for the tournament.
It's fantastic.
Really do.
I completely agree. Look, joining us now for more on Forest's incredible season, two-time European Cup winner Gary Birtles. Morning, Gary.
Gary, how you doing, mate?
Good morning. Yeah, a lot better after last night, although they're not allowing as much sleep at the moment, Nottingham Forest. Exeter and now last night, and it's the worst ground to get out in the country, so it was a late one.
You should be getting plenty of sleep because you're in dreamland. Third in the table and into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Even the most optimistic Forest fan couldn't have imagined this happening, Gary.
Not at all. I keep saying, if they said that they would be in the top four and in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, they'd be lying through their teeth.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, Gary, I mean, looking at the side, I mean, he's taking the opportunity, albeit to rest. I think it was Gibbs White didn't start, Wood didn't start, Elliot Anderson I don't think started. They're just in as good a position, Forest, as they have been for years and years. And what did you think when you saw the side? Where were you before the game, Gary, in terms of the importance of the fixture?
I thought it was important, very important, and I think the team selection, showed that Nuno thought exactly the same. The 8 teams left in are probably thinking, we've got a good chance here. This is the year that could be something different. So that's the reason for the change. The Exeter team selection was totally different, and we saw Liverpool against Plymouth. They changed it completely, went out the competition. It was a nice surprise to see a very, very strong starting lineup, and the depth of the squad, it just shows how good it is at the moment, that he can bring Gibbs White and he can bring Anderson, Chris Wood on. So it's great for every Forest fan. It's great for Nottingham.
It is. It's an incredible story. We know fans want everything, Gary, but what do you think is more important to the fans? Picking up some silverware, winning the FA Cup this season, or qualifying for the Champions League? I know ideally they'll want both.
I think I'm with everybody else. The European dream is there for everybody to see, and we've been up there all season, and it'd be so disappointing to see that disappear. We've got Manchester City at home coming up at the weekend. I really fancy us to beat them more than like the Newcastle's, Fulham, the Bournemouth. We can't seem to beat either of any of those 3 teams. And then the running's not particularly bad, but other teams will be thinking exactly the same. There's a lot to play for up there. It's very tight, but it's a nice bonus to have that FA Cup. And winning's a great habit. Brian Clough always used to say that. We never used to change the team. Just carry on and keep beating teams, winning football matches. And you just hope that that's the case with Nuno. And I'm sure it's going to be. Some
great football this week, Gary. I'm actually at Forest on Saturday for the City game, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm looking at the league right now. I mean, if you're correct in your hope that they do beat City, it certainly provides a bit of a gap in terms of Champions League places. But something you said there interested me. You feel as though sometimes you're more comfortable playing against the teams like Manchester City. Is that because, Gary, you think you don't mind the opposition having the ball and you're pretty dangerous on the counter?
Well, I think everybody's had the ball more than us this season.
Yeah.
The Ipswich League game, they had more possession. So we're not bothered by the look of it that the opposition have it, because you have the pace of Elanga and Hudson-Odoi as we saw last night. I know we didn't have a shot on target in the first half, but we had some really good moments where you thought if the ball had been played a little bit earlier, or would have taken a few more chances, shot a little bit earlier, it might have been a different story. But that just shows you, how difficult it is to defend against those sort of players. And then Gibbs White comes on and runs the show. He was terrific, I thought, when he came on, him and Anderson. And Milenkovic wasn't playing. That maybe was the reason we conceded from a set piece. That's why he was brought in. But, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back involved. And, he's been, one of the major signings for me this season.
Yeah, Nuno's got all these decisions to make again, though, for that quarter-final, because it's going to take place 3 or 4 days before you've got a game at home to Manchester United. So it's such a difficult juggling act for a manager.
It is, but every manager will tell you exactly the same. I'm sure Pep Guardiola's, thinking the, similar things. They're in the FA Cup. They've still got Europe to contend with. They're out of the Champions League. It's a difficult job, to keep everybody happy at that level. And but I think the togetherness and the camaraderie at Nottingham Forest with the players and the squad is absolutely superb. You can see it. After the game, the penalty shootout, it was just incredible. The reaction from the players and, what it meant to them. So, Nuno knows his best 11 and he's not frightened of anybody. I think at the Manchester City game away, when they were going through a really bad run, was the one game that they won against Forest, I think 3-0. And I think, we went a bit negative maybe against City then, but I think that'll turn around and we'll just get on the front foot and take the game to them whenever we can and just, be solid at the back, which we've been all season, more or less.
Yeah, you've been brilliant at the back. And I want to ask you a final question, Gary, if I may. Your goalkeeper, Jeff and I love your goalkeeper. What a season he's having.
He's incredible, isn't it? I mean, we've had so many different goalkeepers, the last couple of seasons. They've all had an opportunity. But Matt Sells has come in, and he was probably the one that people will be saying, "Ooh, who's Matt Sells?" I'm not sure about him, but he's been inspirational. And he saved the one last night, but the rest of the penalties from both teams, I think the standard was unbelievable.
It was.
No way a keeper could get near it.
No.
And there's always going to be one who's going to be, sad and disappointed that he misses. But it was a decent save. But he's been brilliant for us. I mean, Ali, I played centre half. And I know how important it is to have a goalkeeper behind you who's, positive. You can hear shouts and he'll come and take the pressure off you. And, I think Matt Sells does that.
Gary, disappointingly, we can't see you this morning. So I've got one final question for you, because Coisty and I were discussing it last night. I think we had a small wager on it. Can you describe your shirt this morning?
I put one on just for you two. It's a colourful flower. Nobody will be surprised that it is one of those sort of shirts. But I hate to let you down. It's a thing that I'll always do, and I'll never stop doing. I don't care. I just love the shirts I have. I've always been like that, and I'll never stop.
We love them too.
Not should you, mate.
Coisty's picking up the money as well, I think, Gary.
As always.
As always, yeah. Hey, Gary, have a great day. Thanks
Hopefully
for joining
see you
us.
the weekend, mate.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.